Okay, so it's recording now. Okay, so let's summarize what you did from this animation video. You have your notes. Just let me know, like in a list or in a schematical way, all the things we discuss. Summarize. So, for example, the subject, the crowd, the space, the time. For example, Dora.
Should I talk about like what was my approach or what we were doing in general?
No, yours.
Okay. So from the video Lesnik, my starting point was I was seeing at this woman as she's working something and like work as if in laboring or craftsmanship. That was how that's how I saw it. For the space, I decided to be in a black box and have 3 female dancers, which was important to underline these females as working. And I said that I would put the audience closer to the performers and around them to be a bit more intimate. And yes, I think that's it.
Okay, great. Now, you summarize it as well, but then I will ask you both to think about a title. Okay. Can you summarize yours?
Yes. So I got a subject which is I call it cut, and it's about, so we got like several questions, right? So it's like also about the space. Like I think it's more about the space and the time. So I picked 2 space, which is one is going to be like a theater, like also like a black box, something like this, close to the audience. The audience is involved. And the other one is like in open. No, it's in a house or apartment or something. Like they have rooms, they have different sets, so different like things in the same apartment. And about the time, so I said about like 45 to 60. And you gave me the suggestion about like 7 or 8 hours, which was like very impressive for me. And also about the number of the dancers is going to be like about 3 or 4, and I want them in a different like nationalities. Like if it's 4, I said like maybe like 3 female and 1 male, or if it's 3, I'll get 2 female and 1 male. So it's something like this, more or less. And also, I think it's all about the feeling and also the thoughts, right, for the audience. Like you mentioned, what do we want to bring to the audience, the feeling or thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, let's say that we are in that point that it's time for a decision, because both proposals faces different challenges. And I would say that are kind of quite different. Would you agree that?
I mean the place I choose, or what? Yes. So you want me to make a finalization?
Yeah. Let's say.
I would do it in an apartment, so it's more challenge. I think in the theater it's easy, so I would take like a. You know,
in the theater is easy. Okay, I will remember. Okay, yeah. I mean, I mean, it's because then would you agree then the timing would be very different? I don't know if it's like 7 hours, but kind of longer. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yes. If yes, I mean, it's one of the like possibility. of course, you can also do it like several times. For example, if I do this performance, I can do it like, so like for several days or each week I do, and people can come, they can choose different rooms to, you know, to watch like each part. Or I do like once I extend the time. For example, like from which hour I represent this part, and from the other hour will be the other part. So you can get a ticket, so you can stay here for the duration of the performance, so you can watch all the performance. So the solution is different.
Absolutely. So meaning that maybe we are talking about a multi performance that I are doing at the same time in different little spaces that belongs to a bigger space. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's. I think it's also a way to. I don't know, because for example, if a black box if I compare both, I think it's more limited, and also the audience, like who is going to pay like to go to this theater, but if you extend it in outside of the theater, so the audience is wider, like those people, you know, even you can do it somewhere like it's there is more possibility and the choice about the audience also.
So I will ask you something now, which is, would the audience be free, let's say, to decide where they are going to go, or you are going to imagine a way that at least suggest them a travel inside this building? Do you understand the question?
Yeah. I think I would prefer the first idea you brought. Yeah.
And then they are completely free to go here and there.
It's maybe like a secret.
Maybe to come back, maybe to stay longer in one room.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so a title. What's the function, the purpose of a title? It has some the title belongs to the text of the project, let's say. So then from this point of view, all projects, even those that you are not using text on a stage, they have a part of text, which is the title, which is sometimes is a kind of script about a structure of the play, instructions for the dancers or the performers, and many times the hand program. So you need to count on that. I mean, it's not a big deal, but you need to count on that because it could be some tools for your dramaturgy, meaning that the title can send an inspiration to the audience that somehow put them into the line of the subject of the performance, for example. Or it can be the contrary, so something that confuses them because the title has, let's say, the opposite, or in the beginning nothing to do with the content, and then this creates some kind of electrocircuit in their brain that makes them think, for example. The title could help as well in the narrativity or in the abstraction of the play. Meaning that you push into the senses, or you push into the intellectual ideas. And sometimes the title is a provocation. I will put you an example which is not from performing arts, it's from painting, but it's very clear what this example is. One painting or a series of paintings from Miro, you know, those colors, abstract colors with nothing clear what's going on. Then they had a very precise title, like, for example, a mockingbird singing in the branch of an apple tree. This was, I mean, the title of one of those paintings, and this is clearly a provocation, because it's not only that you cannot see the mockingbird and the singing and the tree and whatever, it's just that you shouldn't even try to see it, because it's an irony, it's humor, it's a provocation from the point of view of the artist, no? So this is another way to face the title. Dora, for example, which title do you think it could help to you?
I don't know. It's really the hardest thing for me to think about.
Many people tell me that. It's interesting. So a title sometimes is the last thing. So then you choose a working title, because you need to name your project, no, somehow. But then, and sometimes it's the first. So I don't know what happens with you. Sometimes I had a title and I didn't know what it was about. I like it as a title, and then I move on. Or sometimes no. Sometimes it was to go through the project, to work, blah blah blah, to stay, rehearsals, and one day, boom, okay, we must put a title, because I mean, at least before starting the promo, you need a title, no? A title that. So, do you have any even if it's a working title, or that you can change later?
I don't know. Maybe I would have, if I know in which direction would I want to go with that project. In a way, what would be the atmosphere of, what do I want to show people? I mean, what are my concerns in this work? Like, for now, I have only things that, okay, I have like inspiration point, but which was animated video. But I didn't decide how to work with it.
But then, how will you know?
I don't know if I'm maybe for the working title, I would connect the working title probably with the animated movie, if I have to name it. And I would probably choose something more in this kind of atmosphere of. Maybe I would go with something similar to, or to find the words how to describe maybe some obsession or something, because how I see it, it's like when I'm watching the movie. She's working, but it goes beyond the work, where it becomes kind of an obsession. But then the atmosphere is super calm, like the something obsessive is only in her, not around her. Nothing is happening. So for the working title, I would probably go in that direction, maybe something with obsession, or to think how can I describe obsession, or to connect it with the atmosphere that is completely opposite. But I cannot say if I would continue with that.
Okay, but then the fact that you don't know the direction, this is something that you are going to play with, or it's going to become an issue.
No, I wouldn't say it will become an issue.
Okay.
I think it will be something that I would play with to like
So you will share,
this is open part of working.
you will share with the performers,
Yes.
and then you will work as a research,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then one day you
I
will
will
know.
make a decision.
Okay, that's good. Let me just say that those kind of projects needs an internal and an organic and a live deadline.
Mhm.
Meaning, when I say internal, I am not saying a concrete deadline, meaning 10 days or 15 days or 1 month or whatever, but like the fruit when starts growing and gets the point that it can be eaten, that then you know, because the smell, because you touch it, because you just know that is the moment to eat that fruit. Then with this is the same. So you must be very, very sensible to know that you reach that moment that, okay, now I know what we are talking about, what we want to talk about, and then somehow you put it, you make it official somehow. Because it happens in many research that if you there is a certain moment that everybody gets tired, gets and it could be that you even instead of having a path, you can get lost. So it's kind of dangerous. No? You can be easily lost somehow. No? You understand what I'm saying. But besides this, it's okay. So your title?
Oh, my title. I think I have some, like, through the process I did with my performance. Like, I also, like, we had some conversation. I had some conversation with my friends. Like, so for me, it's like I prefer to do it like not in the beginning, because usually for me it's like if I put a title first, it will limit my my visions towards the things I'm going to do. And also, like, I don't want the title, which is like obviously telling the audience what I'm going to do on the stage, because I think it's, for me, it's boring. So and also it's like,
you want to help the audience.
I mean, like, for me, the title is like how you can use the title, which is like, of course, it's connected with the things you were doing, like you were performing, you are going to perform on the stage. And the second, if you can use this title, how to play with like the audience. Like, first it's like how you can have their attention, or have they kind of like, for example, if I saw this title, I have my like expectation towards the piece. Maybe it's going to be like this. And so, but at the same time, it's also like, it's kind of like a surprise for the audience also. So the title is going to be not like directly tell you what I'm going to do on the stage, which is connected, but it's not what you were thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Any proposal? Even if it's a working title, I mean, you can change.
What if? I think it's like I had two. I was like writing two. Like I wrote down two, which is the first one is it's seeing is not believing, and then but like I don't like it that much, so I want to keep it open. So I had the other one, and it's what if.
Okay.
So it's more open.
Okay. So this is a slight way to start. To start the walk without any kind of tension. That's, many people get very stressed about the putting the title, but they shouldn't. I mean, to put a title is not that tragic. So one in one moment, so in the beginning, in the middle, or in the end, that you will find it. You will find the title, as you will find the other things you need to do your performance. So, okay, so now I would ask you to imagine a chat with a producer. So you are going to meet one person that can help you with investing money in your project, and then you must explain him or her your project in order to convince him or her to invest in it. Is it clear what I'm saying? Okay, so who feels like starting?
Do you have any, like, I don't know, like, what is the content about this? For example, you have, I don't know, like, I'm not so clear about.
Would you need some money for your project?
Yes, of course. I need someone, like, I need sponsor, of course.
Exactly. So then let's imagine now it can be me, that I am a possible sponsor of your project. Then we meet, and you must convince me to become a sponsor of your project.
Wow.
So
That's
how
That's difficult.
are you? Are you ready?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how to start. I was like totally, I have no idea about him. Because first, I don't know anything about this producer. And I don't know, like if, so we have, like, for example, I have to think two solutions, right? If I know this producer, like, so I have to know, like, what he is interested in. This is the first. We will fix, I mean.
Well,
and the second is, okay.
If I'm here, I am interested.
Okay. So I'll introduce.
You rarely will be in front of a producer who is not interested. So let's say that I am interested. I follow your work, and I like it. Let's say, or I feel close to it somehow, because I gave you my time. I gave you a meeting, and I am here, open ears, so listening to you. Have you ever done it?
I think I had a little bit
in real life.
Yeah, it's so it's about, like, I'll explain you what is the, I think it's the thing you told us, like, about the subject I'm trying to do, explain you, and what is the, I don't know if it's.
Let's talk about the practice once done. Try. I mean, or Dora, do you have it maybe clearer?
I can try.
Okay, so let's go.
Okay.
Move on, then go with you. Okay, Dora.
Okay, so I have this new project that is that the working title is connected with the obsession, and our starting point was animated video The Last Knit. I am interested to, I will do this project with three female dancers, which is very important for me that they are female. And we will be creating our work around the questions of female body working as a labor, manufacturing. This is some things that I am interested. I would like to perform it in a black box space, but the space needs to has to be big enough so that on the stage we can put people from four sides, so that dancers still have enough space in the middle, but also the atmosphere has to be quite. We have to be like. So that people are engaged and close to the dancers. The length of the performance will be around probably around 1 hour. The lights will be probably there will not be so many light changes, like something drastic. I don't need it. So someone who maybe knows how to work slowly and to put the lights as an atmosphere would be a good fit for this project. And the aiming audience would be, I don't know, people from 18 years old on. I don't have such a, like it. Probably it's not for, I don't know if it will be for kids, but it's not that younger people cannot come to our performance. It is open for everybody, but this is not necessarily for the kids performance. I mean, it's not that we are aiming into that audience, but it's for a very wide audience. And yes, I think it will be a very easy to digest performance. So that doesn't mean that people who are not necessarily performers or in some performing field that they cannot. It's very open for all the people, not only people who are educated, let's say, in watching dance performances or performers of any kind. Yes, I don't know. That's
how many performances are you planning?
I am planning for the beginning. I would plan to have a premiere and the day after, so two performances for sure. And then if the space in which we will be performing is allowing us to do like maybe later on, like if it allows us to perform it more, then if we will have enough money to have more showings, then we will go in that area, like we will have it then.
And how many people per performance can be in the audience?
I would say around 30, 35. I think more than that, it's just too crowded. It might be too crowded, but also it depends on the space in which we will be, how big it. But I would say around 35, not more than that.
So there is no benefit.
No benefit in for you as a producer.
Well, I mean, meaning that one performance gives no benefit.
Okay.
Do you understand what I mean? So you have three people on the stage, and then it's easy to calculate it somehow that 35 people in the audience. So meaning that this one performance will not generate a benefit.
Okay.
So,
Then maybe I would say like 5 then. 5 to like for the big, like for, it's not that I want to only perform it 5 times or 3 times or 2 times. It's only like for the beginning, like how to present the work for the presentation. Yeah, I would say like then 5, and then later, if it's possible to tour it or to have more performances in the space in which we will be performing, if we can communicate with them that it is possible, that they have time and that they have space available for more performances on a monthly basis or something, then we would go for it.
okay, and then is what? So you said that any kind of people could be the audience. So young people, mature people, maybe elderly as well,
Mhm.
and men, women. So there is no specific targeted audience.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and then how would you when we meet? Because now I will introduce you the guy who was taking care about the promotion, and we need to talk to him. So what would you tell, or somehow would be the message to bring people to come to see your performance? You know, something clear, something short, something that can say, oh, I am interested in going to see this one.
I would maybe go. I would go back to the starting point of work, and maybe go a bit deeper into that to see, because I think it's something that people can connect with or can experience. And also maybe people are not always seeing artists as workers. I don't know if do you understand what I mean by saying that? So, I mean, yeah, sometimes it can be people have different maybe like way of thinking, or you're just dancing, or you're just doing, or you're just like people. Yeah, and I think that if I connect it with the work and something that like people are working day to day, people are I don't know, maybe I will go into that direction to reach out to people.
Do you think then do you think that what you are talking, I mean, what you the subject you are touching is something recognizable for any kind of person that comes there and say, oh my God, this is something that happens to me as well. And this is what you mean, so that people can share with you your concern or what you are talking about on the stage.
Kind of, yes. Most of the people, maybe.
Most of the people, because this is the way that you will get them involved. You said one interesting thing, one polemic, let's say, one polemic thing, which is this performance is not only for people educated in being in seeing contemporary dance or physical theater plays, or this is you touch the bone here, huh? So now I am not a producer. Now I am Carlos, huh? So I am Carlos again. So
I want to. Can I say something first on that?
yes, of course.
It's not that I know. I think, and it's not. I do not think that people that we can divide people, and that something is for someone and something isn't for someone, and that's not what I meant with saying this. I wanted to say that sometimes I know for myself, I can sometimes go and see a performance that is super hard on me. It's hard for me to follow. It's hard for me to be there. It's hard when I go out. It's super hard and heavy. And I don't know if I should watch it again or no. And I have a lot of questions. And then when I am talking with the people who are not going to the performances so often, or doing something else in their life that is not at all connected to theater, to performance, to anything, they experience much more heavy performances than I do. Like when I am talking to them, something that I just see it and it's amazing, and or I don't have, let's say, a question or something that, like, things that I know, I see it and I can go with it after. People can't. And in my experience here is that sometimes people who are not part of, let's say, because Croatian dancing is very small and you can always see the same people, let's say, in the on the performances. And then when someone else comes, someone's girlfriend, someone's boyfriend, someone from the outside of this small circle, they have a big trouble watching pieces, like a really big trouble, especially afterwards when people start to talk about what was happening, and they don't want to come another time. Like, they're like, oh, it's too much, I cannot do it. And I just wanted to say that I wouldn't go in that direction, that something, I mean, I cannot know it, but yes, that's what,
No.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Because I had I mean sometimes I saw that, I mean, let's say many times I saw, but I had different experiences as well. So I had experienced just the opposite, meaning that these outside people you said, no, the boyfriend, or people who normally when they go to the theater they go to see a different kind of pieces.
Yeah.
And then it of course the attitude might be positive, that's for sure, but then they discover something, and they said, I saw people saying, Carlos, I didn't know that this existed, and it was very interesting, or I like it, or I didn't like it, but it made me think, or whatever. And I strongly believe in that. Meaning, so the word educate, it's important here. It's important here. So meaning that if we want to work, it's this is one aspect from the financial frame of our society, meaning that what we are doing to live from that, to have an earning from that, let's say that we have two big options. One option is to find the producers who will pay everything, and here I'm thinking about the government or the council with a support from culture, from the Ministry of Culture, and blah blah blah, meaning that what the money they will invest, they will not recover it. So they will invest this money because what you are doing is culture, let's say, and they think that they have to support culture and to make culture accessible to as bigger as audiences as possible. So that's why when you say, I am preparing a performance with 3 people on the stage, but the audience is like not more than 30, you will never ask the money you need to a non-governmental, let's say, to a private investor, or to a private, you wouldn't, because you need the money from someone who is aware that there's not going to be an earning from this. This is from one model. The other model is that we have our earning from the people who come to see our work, meaning from the audience. So there is two moments of investing money, let's say. One is before the premiere, the money you need to raise the project, paying the rehearsals, the whatever, if you have props or costumes, whatever. So the money you need to prepare the performance till the moment of the premiere. This is the production budget, the money. This money, you somehow are planning to recover it or to recover a part. Because from that money, maybe there is public money. And the public money, you don't need to recover it. But the private money, you need to recover. And then, once you start making a performance, each performance will have a cost, which is not going to be, maybe now in your case, 3 people on the stage, maybe 1 technician. It's not going to be very expensive, the performance. But then, to pay the salaries of the dancers, to pay the salary of the technicians, to get you your salary as well somehow, the money then might come from the audience. The audience will pay the money. So this is something that it's obvious somehow, but I feel that in the upcoming times, so in this 21st century and how things are going on, I strongly would support the second model, because some practical thing. When I am preparing a play, normally it takes sometimes even between 1 year and 2 years. Then there is the moment that the rehearsal period is like 1.5 months or maybe 2 months. When I am preparing a play, I feel like I would like that the maximum people as possible see it and enjoy it. So I am not doing it for my colleagues in the world of theater or contemporary dance. I'm doing it for my friends, from my family, from my neighbors, from all the people that if we sit down and we are serious, they are going to be difficult people, because they are not going to be my audience, because it's the audience who maybe go to see a comedy, a text-based comedy in the theater, or a musical, or whatever. So this is very important to my work in dramaturgy, because you know, it doesn't sound good to say that I would like to educate people, because I am not an educator, but there is a part of it in what we are doing, meaning that our dramaturgy, from my point of view, of course, so this is my point of view, might be as clear, as enjoyable, as attractive, to include as much as people as possible. Of course, that there's going to be people who will never like it, or who will come and hate me and never come back, maybe, or because, you know, you cannot make happy everybody. That would be really stupid even to try. But this is very important. I think the other day we talked a little bit about ego, if I remember well, if maybe not, because ego is another thing that it bothers me a lot. So it's you know, it's about, you know, I will tell you in a different way. After more than 30 years working in this and being more than 30 years being a member of the audience, nowadays the only thing that makes me angry or makes me go out the venue or leave or dislike, strongly dislike what I'm seeing is when I realize, more or less consciously, that the people who prepare the performance I am seeing, they didn't care about me at all. It's the only, then of course, I feel closer to some aesthetic and I like more this and that or whatever. But when I realize that the director normally, or the choreographer normally, we can put the responsibility of this on his or her back. No? Not always, but mainly yes. So when I realize that this director do not care at all about the audience, and this is a dramaturgy. You can see it in a dramaturgy because the piece was not created for communicate, for involve the audience in it. It was created in a different way. It was created like my toy that maybe only me like it, or maybe only me enjoys how to use it, or maybe only me understands how the mechanism of it is working. But from my point of view, this is against the conception of performing art, because performing arts are based on a communication act, and this is the main rule. Let's say maybe it's the only rule, because then you can do whatever you want, and you can try whatever you want, and you can make a research, and you can be provocative, and you can or not whatever. So, but the intention of involve the audience in your work, I think it's a must. Always, it's a must. Do you understand my point?
Yes, I understand it completely. And like last Monday, when we started, when you asked what is dramaturgy for us, and then we went into discussion, and we were talking something from the outside eye. That's how I see the dramaturgy. That is this outside eye, meaning connected with the audience, and the dramaturg, like members of the audience, they have not been here with you in this process. They don't know, they have not been in every rehearsal. They were not making decisions. They were not making final, they were not choreographing. That's how I see dramaturgy from that outside eye, someone who can tell you, like, get you on the shoulder and say, you cannot do this. Like, it's not for you understand it, but people who will come will not, understand or whatever. So in that way, that's what I just want to say, that like this dramaturgy is working for me from the eye of the spectator and not from the eye necessarily that was
you said something that is as well remarkable, which is that when you said people came and then they hated it, they disliked it at all, and then especially when we start talking about it, you said that moment. So, for example, when you need to talk about a performance, and in order to explain it, then something went wrong, something is failing, something is not working. So if you have to explain the performance to your boyfriend, then something went. Of course, you can talk about the play, but not in the sense of that a play needs to verbalize an explanation to get some extra information. All the information the audience have to enjoy a play is between the play starts and the play ends. Is there. So while the length of the play. That's what I was saying, that, for example, the title or the hand program, it's a kind of a trick that some people uses because they think that maybe the audience needs a kind of extra help to understand my play, and then this is in the beginning. So like people who is reading a critic of a film before going to see the film. No? Then if in a little paper you write, the director writes the intentions or the subject of the play, and the title speaks a little bit about, brings you into then the audience comes into the venue more or less with an idea, but then you will realize that there is people in the audience who will not read the hand program, even consciously. I had an auntie that when she was 70 years old, she said, I've never read any hand program ever when I go to the theater, because I want to have my own conclusions when I'm seeing I don't want them to tell me. And maybe after the performance, you read the program. But there is other people who really need it, and somehow helps them a lot. No? What's on your mind? What do you think about this discussion?
About the audience, like I had lots. I mean, like what you were talking about.
Yes,
I don't know, like
when the audience is hard, when the audience resists, when they don't jump into the play, when you're working for a targeted audience, or you want to make it enjoyable for the maximum people as possible.
I think for me, like of course I care about my audience. That's why I prefer to do the performance inside of the black box, because the audience is getting close so they can receive the energy. And also for me, it's like I really respect and be grateful, like, for those people who came to the performance. And also for me as an audience, when I was sitting like on my stage, what I felt appreciated is like the moment when I felt like release, and I felt this kind of enjoyment. So this is also what I want to bring to the audience. So basically, I will not think like about the like. I will not make it as my purpose to please the audience. So for me, it's more important like to find this kind of connection with the audience, no matter who is coming. And of course, I'm open to all these kind of like critical things, whatever it is, because different people get different things. It's based on their background. So
Finish. Sorry, I don't want to. I really enjoy to listen people who has nothing to do with theater. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can go to Museo del Prado or any kind of museum, sit down and listen the people. It's amazing, because there is people. So I think, in my opinion, we overvalue art. We put art in the clouds, in the heaven, and this is not at all. The art is something that we use that is made for us. I mean, to us, and to see how a grandmother, how a working man, how a clerk, how a cleaning lady are talking about Picasso, or are talking about Peter Brook or Pina Bausch, for example. It's something that it's a dramaturgic lesson. It's my opinion. Of course, there is people who is never thinking about a cleaning lady in the middle of the audience of what they are doing, no? And they will. But why not? So if you, how could we define audience? How would you say what is an audience?
Is this a question?
Uh-huh.
I think it's part of, for me, it's like it's like I had this kind of expectation from the audience, like the best is like they can feel like they're part of the performance. So I mean, like, yeah, no matter what, like for example, if you are the audience, I don't like so no matter what kind of feedback you have after you watch the performance, but within the performance, I think it's kind of like I can feel as a performer, I can feel the support from the audience. So it's like this kind of like, I mean, connection with the audience. It's also what the audience means for me, like the role but if it's in a theater with a big stage, I felt I was just like, I don't have this connection with the audience at all. So that's why, like, I don't like this theater with like a huge stage, which like they also have a stair. I thought that was like something, I don't know, like I felt it's very tough, like, you know, I felt no connection with it. Even just thinking about it, I don't know, like why I have this kind of thought, but it's just like, because like, it's just like last week, my friend told me she's going to do a performance in Morocco and the stage is like this. So I was like, wow, because she also did a performance in Berlin, which is like a very nice theater. The audience is very connected. So I was like, then I realized if I'll do a performance, I will never choose a stage like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, for sure you learn a lot from it. Yeah, for sure. And for you, Dora?
Yeah, I mean, for me, audience, I don't know. I agree what you said, but my thoughts on the first went into the other direction. I see, like, for me, it's people who are there and they are bringing something with them. They have something behind them. They have their own thoughts and their own way of watching things. And for me, it's interesting that I don't know what they are like thinking, and that every one of them has something different and something unique, and every person is watching at the same thing through different eyes. That's more how I where my thoughts went when you asked the question, and that's something, the idea that, I mean, that's how I see it.
So is it a collection of individualities or is it a mass?
Collection of individuality. It's not a mess for me. It's not that it isn't.
No, I mean,
I don't like to think it as whatever. You know, that you can put dolls or whatever in the audience. It's not the same. It's here, it's alive, it's present. Took time to be here for some time, sharing us, being in the same space, sharing this space. I don't know.
And would you agree that the number, so as many people, is less individualities and more to the mass?
Yes, I would agree that more people, it's you cannot reach them. So I mean, you cannot.
I mean, you can. I mean, the Nazi Hitler speeches
Mhm.
They have a dramaturgy, and but it was a dramaturgy for 40,000 people, or Shakira.
Mhm.
Shakira, she has a dramaturgy. No doubt about it. So I was working in a theater in Budapest. It was a theater of the comedy. It was for 1 year, and it was a classical theater. So it was like 2 floors, and downstairs for 700 people, and upstairs for 400 people. It was like in total 1,200 people. And then the first day, when I started, the director of the theater brought me into the venue, into the stage, and show me the audience play, saying that here and tell me, so the dramaturgy of our plays must be done for 1,200 people. Did you, so do you understand why he was saying this?
I'm not sure, but I mean, I will say what I think, but I'm not sure that's the right answer. He might give you the direction in which what repertoire does he want, like what you said, like Shakira, something that anybody can, like the man in the last row can enjoy very loud music, something very expressive, something very on going outside. So maybe that's why he was saying that.
I mean, yes. So 1,200 people buy a ticket, must be happy about that. And then, so this is a dramaturgy. So maybe it's not the dramaturgy you would like to do, because maybe you would like to do a different kind of dramaturgy. But any kind of dramaturgy or place you would like to do, to develop, to work on it, you must think about the audience all the time, and not only a targeted audience by the number, the place they are going to share with you. For example, in this building, I think the audience of this kind of performance is very wide. So you can have a lot of different people coming to see your performance, and then you will think about carefully to offer them different kind of feelings, and maybe more than feelings, but a different kind of, depending on the room they are in, that they can somehow, because this is the exhibition concept, no?
Mhm.
An exhibition is a performance as well. So this is like Andy Warhol and blah blah blah. They talk about it. So I come into a big room and I see many Goyas or many Velázquez or many Picasso, and then somehow I stay this one. I go towards this one and I stay more time in front of this one, and then I don't care about this other one because I can move. So because each one of them are giving something different to me,
Mhm.
for example. So you bring this feeling into your performance, and then in your performance could be my grandmother and the most fashionable choreographer in contemporary dance in Madrid. They can go together to see your performance, and each one of them would take some completely different things from you.
Exactly.
But both of them can enjoy it.
Mhm.
So to put an end, many dramaturgs are more worried about that the piece has some concrete laws, or the message arrives somehow clearly, then getting the audience involved in the play. And I think this might be the main target of a dramaturg. And then the other things come. Yeah, of course, you need to think about time, space, the actors, the tech. Blah, 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 blah. So when I was asking you to sell your idea to a producer, yeah, I mean, yes, it's summarizing your idea, it's putting it in clear, it's trying to communicate it, but it's a slightly different that, for example, what would you do with a dancer that you'd like to work with him or her or convince an scenographer, for example, to join the team, because the fact of selling, the fact of making in love, because to sell is to make somebody in love. This is what is selling. And then one of somebody who can bring you money, which means resources to do what you have in mind, you need them in love. So to make this effort brings to your dramaturgy a light that is extremely connected with all what we've been talking about the audience. Because a producer is, it's from the capitalism point of view, is taking care of the audience. Because the producer will get the money from the audience. And if it's not one performance in 1,200 people during 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months, it is a little alternative performance in a place which is for 50, 60 people, but somehow they are thinking about that. And in the end, sometimes it's people says some pessimist or negative thing saying that it's about money, but I mean that it's about love, and love, why not, is connected with money as well. So, no. Do you want to say something about this, or to ask something about this? What we've done? Did you feel especially uncomfortable when you were trying to convince a producer for having the resources? Have you ever done in real life to go to somebody and to tell them, I need money for my project?
I mean,
Sorry.
sorry, you can.
No, you go.
I mostly in Croatia, you are your own producer in a way. I mean, we are in contact with producers, but like if you really don't know something, then you ask them to tell to you how to write a contract, how to this, that, something. But like to try, like it mostly is about get fundings and writing applications, which is very hard to give into hands of someone who is not here present all the time to write. Like the most of it, it's about writing about the project and what is project, which it's hard. Like producer doesn't have any artistic usually input in the project, so they can do what they help usually is with the finances, with how much could a costume cost. They like, how much should I get money for this, for that. That's where they can think of. like how they can, but and where they can help. But then when the time for getting the visuals, getting the PR, getting everything, it's then again always back to you, and like it's always you are doing it and not the producer. They can find you a photographer, but that's then you are again talking with the photographer. What do you want? How do you want it? And
It's like an executive producer. Or
yes.
something. Yeah.
And then when everything is finished, when you have to when you have to write how did you spend money on what, well, then it's again on you, because you were in the process, you know where you were spending money. You know, there is not someone who tells me you have to come to rehearsal this and this, you will get paid this and this. It's you at the home trying to make everything right, and how to pay someone who did the photography, how to pay someone who recorded, how to. So we are communicating with the producers, but we are doing the work in the end.
Okay, I see. And what's your experience, I?
So I think to find a producer, or maybe we say it's something like you were ready to compromise, like, you know, to kind of to reach this purpose. So you have to compromise, like, about, because it's always like there are conflicts between the things you really want to do and also to fix the public, not even the audience. I think the public and audience are very different. So if you want to fix this expectation, like for the public, it's going to be like you have to like really kind of like tell yourself like if you can do this as an artist or as, you know, as a crowd or something. Because first you need money from this like producer, and then the second time you want to keep the personality or keep the things you want to do. But always it has this kind of like conflict with the public. So in the end, you have to make an agreement like in front of the public, which is the purpose for the public. So
Of course.
that's the difficult part.
I mean, you are making agreements and compromises all the time. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's the part of struggling. I mean, you know, and also at the same time, you have to work with all the, like, during the rehearsal, during the production process, you have to work like everything by yourself, you know. So it's going to be like lots of things also, like, you know, that's not a good bowling to be like, you know. So it really depends if you can get this producer or not. Like sometimes if you can do this premise, it's easy actually, you know. If you know what they want, you just give what they want and save a little bit what you want to do, like, you know. So
of course. Okay, good. Let's make a break, a 15 minutes break,
okay.
and then let's talk a little bit about Kafka. But don't be scared, huh? So come back.
See you later.
Hello. Welcome back. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience with text on stage, if you have some or not. Hi.
Yeah. I think we did like, I think it's long time ago actually. When I was in my like university, I was in different like festival also doing volunteer, and I was following those theater things like with those teachers. So we did we did some exercise about how you use the speed of the voice, which including the text. So how you use the speed, or how you can use the content. Even I did a performance like just I think last month I did a duet with my friend. So she was speaking and I was dancing, and people are trying to the audience was trying to ask like, so what is the connection between this text and with the movement? For me, it's like I had a period I was trying to use the text or trying to combine it, like in my performance, then now what I'm doing is like I'm trying to disconnect with it. Because to connect it's easy, but if you want to disconnect, it's not easy actually. Because for example, if you put all the things together, if the dialogue is connected with the movements you are doing, then it's one piece. It's one thing. But if you separate it, it's two things on the stage. So yeah, that's originally what I did also actually.
Do you know?
And also we did, and
yeah.
And we did like, we were doing an exercise actually this week with one of the teachers. So we were just randomly write things. And then like we do the improvisation and we exchange role and how we bring this text on the movement or how we use it. But nobody knows what you were writing. Only you were the one who noticed it. It's a bit like difficult. Like it's between this kind of thing also like connect or disconnect. What does it mean? Or like how you can use it, what kind of like inspiration. Even you write the whole paper, maybe you just pick one word as your inspiration. So that's my experience. That was my experience.
Okay, and Dora?
I was sometimes like as a performer, sometimes we would, I was part of some performances where we had to learn text and like saying it, like performing the text in a way of speaking. That's
so text-based theater.
It was, it wasn't a text-based theater, it was a dance performance, and while we were working, we had this one text, which is really nice, and I recommend it, by Laszlo Krasnohorkai, Animal Inside. And first we used it as to get the atmosphere, like it was the atmosphere of the performance, but eventually choreographer decided that some parts of the text some of us learn, and then we were performing it while something else was happening, like other people were performing. I also sometimes was these all exercises of when you read some part of the text and then you try to get it into the body, like to however you want to deal with it. Also some like to this exchanging of writing and dancing and writing and dancing, some of these exercises with writing your own text. I don't know. That's my experience.
It was singing as well.
Was I singing? No.
Because I understood that it was like you were saying the text and singing the text.
No. We were just.
Okay.
We were just saying the text.
The lyrics of a song is text. So when you use a song in your performance, you think about that. I mean, you think about it if the song has lyrics. I mean, the lyrics become part of your performance, no? And it becomes a text of your performance. No? I'm saying this because, I mean, it looks like obvious, but many people forget about it. So they like the song, they use the song, and then the song is saying things that they don't expect, or they are not ready for that, and for the audience is if they tune with the language, of course, because sometimes I was using a Chinese song, but it was a long time ago, and I didn't care about what the song was saying, because it was like I mean, nobody. I was thinking to myself, nobody in the audience will understand the lyrics of the song. And then one day it came a group of 20 Chinese people. And it was like, they were it was a kind of very, I tried to get a serious atmosphere with it was very sweet. And they start laughing like you cannot imagine. And I was completely shocked because I was thinking, what the hell are they laughing at? And of course, because the song, I don't remember now what the song was saying, but these kind of things are important. I mean, it was like it was only once that I had Chinese audience and not anymore. And the song created a kind of very concrete atmosphere that I wanted to create with the song. But well, I mean, those things you need to take care. So it's what is interesting for us now, talking about the text, is two things. One is the question of narrativity versus abstraction, because when many times that we are using text, somehow in different levels brings us into a kind of narrativity. It can be 100% narrative. So if you put a line between 100% narrativity and 0, which is 100% abstraction, let's say. So of course there are many different positions, in between these two extremes. And the other thing is the physicality of the text. So you already mentioned, that to use a text is a physical action. Not only, because what we were saying the first day about the duality between brain and body, which I strongly recommend that you do not think, do not put it in that strong duality, but because of, even if we agree that the text starts in the brain, but somehow when the text is coming into let's say you expel from your body, you're involving different physical parts of your body when you are doing this, so then it becomes physical. So it's a volume, it's about tone, it's about color, it's about the rhythm, it is about many things that are physical, are completely physical. So in a ideal situation, like I can imagine, so if one word is born in my brain, even before making it loudly, making it out of expulse it and make other people get it, that arrive to other people, it's already involving at least from my attitude till the quality of the muscle movement and somehow a general physical tone, let's say. So the power of text, of words, is that in the origin, and we forget this all the time, they appeared because we needed. And nowadays the text is not in a good moment, meaning that they say that we are in a post-truth, or the fake news, all these that we are talking about now. So meaning that when somebody is saying something, it looks like the truth of the content, so the content of what they are saying looks like many times is not important anymore. It can be true, it can be false, it can be half true, half false. It can be music. For example, the dancing, the poetry and dancing. Now that's why I was saying, but there is a long time ago that I saw 100 million performances. Like one person was saying a poem, and another one was dancing. That's it. Is it possible that the movement explain the poem? Does it have any kind of sense? What do you think? I don't think so. I only can imagine this as a compliment. So the poem, the poem is like the lyrics of a song saying something that communicate some kind of concepts related with words, and the movement, it's enriching, giving it power. Because there is only one situation that it could be explain the text with the body in pantomime, no? Or in depth language. We are trying to communicate to deaf people. Somebody's talking. So can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe I cannot. Dora? Okay. Yeah, okay, because you have no. Sorry, my tablet was completely dead. So now I am in the computer, and the computer has not really a good connection. So I hope everything is okay. So you can hear me and you can see me. Okay, so what I was saying is that if you don't want to jump into pantomime to describe somehow an illustrative way what the text is saying, you are making a kind of compliment. But then something that Dora said, that there is like, you understand how comes the text into your body. What do you do? So imagine that this exercise is a kind of physical theater exercise that somebody is talking, maybe with a poem, maybe with a narrative, and then you are moving. So what's your way of facing this work, Dora?
Well, I would say there are many ways. How can you, you can follow the narrative and then trying to maybe abstract it or be literal with what do you hear, you do the action, or you can forget about the text and the meanings and just concentrate on the rhythm and try to produce the rhythm of the text with your body. Or yes, you can, what A is saying, you can go with it or go connect with the text or go away from it to give it some maybe other meaning.
And
I think I already have the answer. So it also depends, this person who is speaking, if he is also a dancer, or he's just someone like a text-based like actor or something. So if it's a dancer, like how I can make, like how I can support this with my, so it's like I can use my, like my movement to support this text. Or if he's just like randomly, like if he's not a dancer, so I can like kind of like do something like as a background, you know. Sometimes I can use it, sometimes I can disconnect, you know, sometimes I can, but I don't want to do it for sure, like all the time to follow or to kind of like to use this text to lead me. I don't want to be passive. I want to be active, to play with this text. So that's probably I will like trying to do.
Okay, let's start a kind of method or methodology or way to face this. And starting in the point I said that first of all, checking what do you need and if you need it. So, for example, we have this Kafka text and said that this is like the animation video is an inspirational for a new piece. Now I will give you some tips. For example, this is going to be the inspiration for a solo. You can decide if it's for a male or for a female solo. And it's not going to be long. It's, let's say, between 10 and 20 minutes maximum. So then, as we have it, the whole text of Kafka, first of all, let's think about if we need the text be on the stage or not. This is our first decision. The text or part of it, because then we will have two different strategies to start the work. One is, if we are not going to use it, nothing at all on the stage, then we will work with other facts that comes from the text, like images, like the mood, like the atmosphere, whatever. Or if we are going to use it or to use part of it, meaning one sentence, meaning 3 words, then how we are going to do that. So, for example, first of all, after reading the text, after reading a text, this reading produces in us images and a mood. Would you agree that? Okay, so for example, Dora, what's the mood after reading, your mood after reading this text?
For me, it was very calm and lonely mood.
And yours, I
think I have like a short video clip based on this, like the atmosphere and like something like images on my mind. It's not mood, actually.
No?
It's not mood. It's like for me, if it's a mood, it's like this. It's like in afternoon, you were sitting in a coffee and you see someone pass through and you say the story. It's this kind of mood. So if it's a mood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yes, there is. I think there is always. Well, everything is possible, no? But I think there is always a mood.
meaning some a mood is some basic, very basic feeling. No, for example, euphoria or sadness or melancholy.
If it's based on this test, I think it's loneliness.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, when you read a book or you read one short story, you finish it and then you are in a kind of mood. This is what I was saying. So you say loneliness, no?
Yeah, but this loneliness is like I get from the text. It's not how I felt like, you know.
Yeah,
but I felt this from the character.
Yeah.
And even from Kafka.
Oof, Kafka is very interesting because if you go through, it's many different moods. It's not only depressive and you know sad and sometimes it's very funny.
Yes, definitely.
I strongly recommend you to try to find different moods in Kafka. I was dedicated to Kafka some years ago, so I think what I like from this text is something that we are going to talk now, in short. So loneliness. Now I would say the image. So one, besides you have many, is there one that you somehow could say it is very powerful one? One image that you got from the reading of the text?
I think it's the guy, like, it's the one, like, represents I.
And how would you describe it to a blind people, this image?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
How would you describe this image to a blind person?
I think it's something like it's like you say there is a direction, but actually there is no direction. Like even he is facing in one direction, but it doesn't mean that's the right direction. Like an image.
We agree that an image is something that you could draw.
I don't know. It's like I had this image of a circle, but this circle is about time. Because like I was quite interested about the time. So usually the time is going like this way, right? So you can see the present, the past, and the future. But if you make the loop as a circle, then there is no, like they're only present without the past and then the future.
This circle, like you know, when you are with a Chinese brush, you know, this is an image. But then if you are giving meaning or you are interpreting, make an interpretation of the image, is something that now I am not interested in. I'm interested in the image, pure image. For example, I don't know, a rose on the floor, completely wet because it's stormy, it's raining a lot. This is an image, let's say.
I see.
Do you understand what I mean? So
yes, I see.
Then when you are reading, any image can come into your mind, even if it's not directly connected with the text. For example,
it's a guy.
Or
yes.
I will give you a stupid example, maybe. The tram. Budapest is a city of trams. And Barcelona, no. So when I moved from Barcelona into Budapest, my life was full of trams, and this was completely new for me, the tram. So then, start reading, it comes to my mind, a tram, yellow tram, with one big light coming towards me. For example, this is an image that I got from the reading the first time I read the text. This is what I'm asking you.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly. So if it was one, while you were reading the text, one image that pop up came into your mind.
And actually, this image is not this guy, so I think it's the second part of the image. It's like image of the she.
And how
So
would you describe it? This image.
probably it's very okay. So probably it's an image. For example, it's not a male or female. So which is covered. Maybe he's a male, but he's covered with the clothes like this, like a dress. And I think the place is going to be blur if there is a background, or if there's even it's in a station where lots of people went through, but it's blur and without direction actually.
Okay, and now my question is, if you are creating the image now, or this image is like it pop up when you while reading?
When I was reading, I have this image of the guy, like maybe someone who just get out from the train or from the, was standing somewhere like alone. And then I felt like there's the other one came into this thing, which is this girl. But then in the moment, I felt maybe this one is from the image of this guy,
Okay.
which maybe it's inside of him. So that's why I combine this. Like
Okay.
have this
Because this image work for me is gold, meaning that even when you are making an improvisation with the movements of your body that are creating images into your brain, and then this is feedback all the time between the image and the body, the image and the body, the image and the body, but we are looking for pure image in the sense that is what the work now, the reading, is producing. While I am reading, while I'm moving, when I'm listening to music, I let my brain feel free, and I make a collection of images that are going to be really powerful for our work. Dora, do you have one from the reading?
Yes, when I was reading, I saw this woman that is very polite and very calm. I think that's because he was describing her a lot. Like I had the feeling that he was describing her very detailed, although I cannot see it. But I saw very hair in the bun, or like very, very polite, very calm woman in a skirt. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Would you recognize her if you see her in the street?
Maybe. I think she is one type of a person that you can, that I don't know, maybe is working in a bank or something, like very, everything's on the place where it kind of should be, let's say, I don't know.
Okay, sometimes we imagine people when we are reading, but in a different blurry situation. So sometimes it's very blurry. Sometimes it's very precise, you know, has a face. Maybe sometimes it's the face of a friend of us or I don't know, our neighbor or whatever. This is very, very interesting. Okay, so what would you do with the text? So do you think you would use it on stage, physically, the text, or not? For this practice, huh? For this solo,
I think I wouldn't.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
at all.
I don't know. I was when you asked first the question, my instinct answer was no, but then depends on where maybe I would go. Maybe I would use one sentence to frame the solo, not the whole text, but maybe a sentence like, yes, to frame the solo, to give a bit more of a context. Where is it? If that makes sense.
See, of course. And you,
I think there's one sentence I like very, like, I think it's kind of like a transition with your soul. Like, for example, we make material and we make a transition. The transition is quite important. So I saw one sentence, which for me is like a transition in this text. I think it's in the end of the first phrase. Nobody asked me to put up a defense. Indeed, but this is irrelevant. I think I'll take this one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll put in a template or, but if I only pick this one, I felt it's quite short. I don't know how to use it. Like if it's like a 10 minutes or 12, like a solo. So I would, to kind of like to complete this one, probably I will pick like randomly from this text and also add something like how I felt.
okay, so to start making a dramaturgy based on this, well, you decide. Okay, I would use something from the text. If you decide that you are not going to use anything from the text, then we are moving to the abstraction part. Remember that I told you that.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the level of abstraction here, it's related with what we like to communicate to the audience. So if we get from the text this loneliness mood and this might be helpful, for example, to choose the tonality of the movement, to choose the music maybe, or to decide do not use music, to decide to work in silence, for example. And the image might help to start trying a research in the outfit. For example, in the case of Dora, this lady that has a physical attitude and start moving towards this, creating this loneliness tonality in the body. Then you would start deciding what kind of movements and what kind of tips about repetition, about speed, about rhythm will help to build up those on the stage. But then, in the end, nobody in the audience will know that you are talking about this concrete short text by Kafka. Would you give it to them after the performance? Or would you give it to them before the performance? I had a very strong dilemma time ago, because the Cervantes Institute in Budapest asked the company to create a show based on two poets, one Hungarian poet and one Spanish poet, that they were kind of, you know, they had a lot of things in common. And then we selected some poems from both of them, and we make a structure of binomials. So one scene was two poems, one Hungarian and one. But then after a big dilemma and crisis and thinking and crying almost, so then finally I decided, do not use the poems at all on the stage. So not making this what we are saying, that somebody is reading the poem and then there was a dancing. No. Only dancing. Then I took the titles of the poems. And in Hungary, this poem, everybody knows this poem. Just the title of the scene, that it was in the hand program, and I projected the title on the stage. So then this is a way to put text on the stage, right? I mean, because it's not only about the performer saying it. You can project a text, or you can come with you know, how I say it, with a poster with a word, and then this is text on the stage. So just saying the title. But of course, the Spanish was very, very well known as well by Spanish people. I would say that the Hungarian more than for Hungarians than the Spanish for Spanish. But then what happened is that the Hungarian people in the audience recognized immediately the poem from the Hungarian, but not from the Spanish, y vice versa. The Spanish recognizes the Spanish, but not the Hungarian one. But both of them were putting together because they had a similar atmosphere, a similar conception, a similar mood, and we could play with that. So afterwards, they, besides the performance, was nothing to do with the performance, they decided to publish a little notebook with all the poems in Spanish and all the poems in Hungarian. And then who wanted, because not everybody wanted, could see what we did with the poems, or the people who didn't care about that could get the atmosphere of the poems with the music, blah 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 blah. Do you understand what I mean? So it's your decision, because as I say it again. So if you give a hand program with the titles of the Kafka, I mean, this is not one of the most popular texts of Kafka, and I don't think that many people knows the Kafka text. But even if you say on the tram, or one sentence from the beginning, one sentence from the middle, and one sentence from the end, then you are abandon the extreme of abstraction. But don't misunderstand me. So it's up to what you want to do. If you want a piece which is pure abstraction, even you change the title and you put I don't know, loneliness or whatever, and then you tell people or not that your solo is inspired by a short text by Franz Kafka, or not. So, for example, what if you decide to use? Let's imagine that because well, we are not interested in narrative, in 100% narrativity, right? But maybe for the exercise, for the practice, we are not interested as well in 100% of abstraction. So then, for example, this one sentence, you choose, you can do a lot of things to make a piece that somehow is telling a story. And be careful with this word, story. Yeah? Because in the 100% narrativity, a story is something that, you know, we are with a plot, with a character, with action. The characters have intention. This is traditional dramaturgy, right? But a story is as well, for example, the transformation of one performer on the stage from the beginning of the piece to the end of the piece. This is a story as well. I mean, I am adding meanings to the word, right? So there's people who will not agree me at all. But for me, if something is changing in front of my eyes, this is a story for me. Emotions is a story for me as well. So then I would choose this sentence that takes your attention. Or for example, in the case of Dora, you said word, right? You will look for a word more than for a sentence. Can you see any? Maybe that is powerful for you.
Right now, I don't know.
In fact, coming back to the physicality of the text that we were talking about, and to put it apart the content, I will give you a very stupid example, which is, imagine that somebody is sleeping and you want him or her to wake up. You can say, wake up! And he or she will do it, right? But you can say, potato! And you will produce the same. You will wake up this person. So it's important, the content of the word, when we are working towards the abstraction, or more the effect that the word produces, depending on how we are using it. So, for example, Dora, you can use one word at random, whatever, tram, and then you can start playing with this word, with trying to make it yours, putting really physically in your body as much as possible, and try to organize when, how, and where you are using this word in order to achieve your purpose. This is dramaturgy of the movement, with working with a text. So it's not going to be the same if you use the word without any kind of movement. So imagine that you are completely static on the stage, or if you are using the word while you are jumping, or using the word when you are trying to make a kind of variations with the arms and with the head, for example. This is not going to produce at all the same effect in you neither in what in who is looking at you, what you are doing this. Always coming back to the subject and having clear what we want to say with our piece. In the case of a sentence, because one word could be, well, one sentence as well, no? So could be deconstructed, could be destroyed, could be unformed, could be set in parts, or just the beginning, or just the end, or the middle, set in different volumes. You can play with a lot of resources that are connected with the physical text. But let's say, for example, that if you choose a sentence, you are choosing a biggest amount of meaning than if you are choosing one word. Would you agree this? I
think a word probably makes more sense though. Like a word has more meaning than a sentence, I think.
A word has more meaning than a sentence.
I mean, like, because a word is how it's the thing to make a sentence, right? But if you put a word in the sentence, you know what I mean?
So yes, I think so.
It's a specific story.
What you're saying is that one word has more power, more possibilities.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But if you say, for example, I mean, if you say tram, or you choose the tram is knocking my friend. Then when you say the tram is knocking my friend, and this is already a story. This is already, I mean, it has more meaning, more content towards the narrative. So, meaning that, can you say again the sentence? You like it?
Nobody asked me to put up a defense.
So imagine that you finish your solo with this sentence, saying this sentence. So you create your solo, and during 10 minutes, 12, 15, whatever, the audience get a mood, get an atmosphere, get your way of being on the stage, and then in the end, you stop 1 second, you look at the audience, and you say the sentence, not loudly, not very fast, not very slow, in a very sweet way. This is the power of the end, meaning that if you put something, it depends on where, in what moment you are putting something, especially the text, in what moment of the piece, it has a different power. If you put it in the end, it has the power of give to the audience a very concrete meaning that they will go home with that. No? That's why sometimes the end of a piece, it can change the whole piece. If you change it. So it depends on many times, and I would say always, but you know, that would be a little bit brave. But many times, the end can give a concrete sense to all what the audience have seen during the piece. Would you agree this? In the beginning, what happened? In the beginning, it's creating expectations. If you say the sentence in the beginning of your piece, you are creating expectations to the audience. It's a different thing, because the expectations can be achieved or not. If you do not achieve the expectations that you are, let's say, creating to the audience, on purpose or not, but somehow there is a kind of disappointing or a kind of surprise from the audience point of view, right? So this can be on purpose, but you know what you are doing always, all the time. Let's say, if you use the sentence in between the beginning and the end, then you are creating a kind of structure inside your solo. The power. This is something that it belongs to our culture, and I would say to all cultures. That the text is brutal, has a brutal presence in our life, in our society. You know? That's why many people is saying, "I love you," or I really want it, but then the behavior is completely different of what the text is saying, but still the behavior is much more clear and important about human being intentions. Many people stuck in the text. How many unhappy couples you know that they say I love you each other, but they don't. But they only are attached with the words I love you. Or governments. The governments, the politicians of your party, they say that they will stop increasing the taxes, and you believe them. And they never do that. But you still believe in the words. They have a brutal power, the words. So that's why, I mean, when you are thinking about using words on stage, it's a kind of decision. Especially, for example, in the case of Dora, saying one word. What would happen if you start saying tram during 5 minutes? What would happen?
It can lose a meaning. Yes.
Exactly. It will lose the meaning. It will become sound. You can do that. Or if you are using tram in making, because I would from the outside in a training, I would suggest you physical ways and physical movement to start including tram in the movement. That somehow the word comes from your stomach or comes from your jumping or your sweating or whatever you're moving. This tram, and then start checking if we change the movement, the word is changing. If your body is in possession of the word, this will happen, no? What do you think?
It's now when you were talking all this about words, it's super complex. I understand what you are saying, but I need some time to process it. But I understand it completely, but it's super complex.
It
think
is,
about
it is.
And now the images of a lot of performances are coming to my how strong it is towards the audience, the words, the text. What if it's said or written or when it's like it's not something that you started to work from and we do not know it. It's something else.
Yes.
I remember there was this one performance from Mette Ingvartsen. She would say table, and then I don't know, you maybe saw it, and then so that's also one way of working. It's interesting way of working, but with the words, but you cannot escape imagination of the audience. Or there was this also performance from Francesco Scavetta where performers would go, would say, I'm going to, and then they say something, and then it was slowly going to abstraction. But you even like I'm going to drink water, for example, and they for first few times they would drink water, they would do something, and then they were starting not to do what they say they will do. And then you are still trying, if they are doing this, I'm trying to drink water, you are still trying to imagine that they are actually drinking. It's super, I mean, it's funny. It was really funny.
Do you know Crystal Pie?
No.
I will try to send, there is in YouTube, you can find videos. She has one video, which is in a company meeting room, you know, big company, multinational, so people with suits and women and men, and there's a big table, like typical table of these meeting rooms, and then they have a discussion. So it's people workers of the company, that they have a discussion about the future of the company and the problem of the company, blah, whatever. But so the dancers are not talking; they are moving. They are moving, and not in a realistical way. Meaning, because I don't want to say that they were dancing, but yes, they were dancing, moving not in a realistic way, and then you can listen in an off the text of each one of them. As far as I am in the computer, I think I can show it to you.
I think I probably know this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. Yeah, statement.
So,
Okay, I will show it to you. I will share the screen.
The guy.
What do you want?
It's not what I want.
What do you need?
It's not what he needs.
What do they need?
A statement from you.
I don't see how a statement can fix
It's
it.
the only thing that can fix it. You need to state your position here, nice and clear, or people assume you know what's happening.
Of course
and
we know what's happening.
Then they think you don't care, which is worse.
I do care.
We do care.
And we know it's our fault.
No.
Because
Sorry. I'm sorry. Are we on the record here?
Not yet.
But we're going on pretty quick.
Okay, look. Before we do, what do you need? What do you need us to say?
It's not me. I'm on the outside here. I'm in between.
What do
here.
they need us to say? What do they expect us to say?
They're expecting the truth.
What is that? What does that mean?
Are we on the record?
We are.
I'm here to get a statement from this department that will explain how the situation over there got as far as it did without upstairs having any knowledge that it was happening.
Excuse me?
I'm here to get a statement that explains how your department was acting independently. That's all I'm here for. That's it.
And then what? What happens then?
Well, As we all know, the situation over there is escalating, and it's come to light that this department was involved in creating it.
Listen,
So,
It's all
we were
been
just
planned and
addressing the
orchestrated from
look,
situation as it
you
stood.
just need to clarify how you were involved, and they'll release a statement that will clear it up.
Clear it up? Is that what they want now, to clear it up?
I can't speak to what they want.
You just did.
Did I?
Yes,
On the record?
yes.
So this is an extreme example because here there are a lot of text. When I feel like creating enemies in the text-based theater, I tell them what I think, that all the text-based plays are better when you cut them. It's me, this sound. Yeah, it's me. Sorry. So all the dramas, the texts are much powerful when you cut them, when you take out text from them, because there is a lot of text in Shakespeare, in Molière, in Ibsen, in whatever. So even in the contemporary writers, they talk too much. Says you don't need that, because there is a conflict always. Are you doing texts for the stage, or are you doing literature, drama literature for reading or for publishing it? So it's okay. But if you are writing for the stage, you don't need all these. Dora, it's complicated, no?
Yes. I mean, it's how, because of this complexity, it can also bring a lot. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but you can think about it in many different ways also.
Yes, the question is that, remember our first definition of dramaturgy, how you use the resources you have. So the text is one resource more. And it's not more complicated to work with a text than to work with a performer. So if you are dealing with a chance of using text in your dramaturgy, you make yourself the questions we have been doing now. So, do you need the text? Do you need all of them? If not, which part of text you will use it? How you will use it? How the text will become physical on the stage? How will help all the time to your motor, to your main idea in the performance. Do you want to say any other thing, Ai?
Actually, I'm also thinking if you choose one, for example, if you choose one part of the text from a specific book or a poem or whatever, you really have to emphasize it on the stage, because it can be a compliment. It can be something you want to say, but you didn't find the words to express yourself. It can be something like some agreement you agree with. And, it's not like I'm telling you I'm using this. This is from someone like blah, blah. I'm trying to make a story out of it, instead of this. But it's more like this kind of empathy. It's the empathy you always felt like you have this connection maybe with this author, with this sentence you were writing. So it's something like, actually, it's also because you felt it. You felt this kind of connection with this specific sentence. That's why you want to do it single piece. But it's not something like specifically want to represent the things he writes. It's not like Shakespeare. this kind of thing, because it's more like psychologically,
DB8 did a lot of things
DB8.
with the text as well. So remember this: good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. They have in a venue that afterwards 20 people
Yeah,
met.
that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was not good morning anymore and good afternoon. So the meaning 1,000 things, but good morning, good afternoon. Also, this is something that we decide. Would you prepare something for the next session? A draft of this solo with the word you think or the words you think Dora might be useful for you. And with this sentence, I love this sentence. So I think you can do a lot of things with this sentence. The sentence you have chosen in the Kafka's text. So you prepare somehow a kind of course, you will describe it. You are not going to perform it. Let's do something. Try to imagine that you are going to be the choreographers, and then you will work with one performer. And let's imagine the first rehearsal day. What would you tell him or her to make him or her a picture of the situation? So, and then you can choose a music. You can look for a music that helps to your purpose. Is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Dora, you will show up on Monday.
Monday, yes.
Because they have a slightly different task. Because the sessions are not always mathematically the same. But I think we've done more than I did with them
Okay.
last Monday. So you will have a privilege. Okay. Anyway, and then I will try to talk with Malika. It will happen. Maybe she wanted me to send the video or whatever. But then see you on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
And see you soon.
See you.
Bye bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.